Massive violence in Philadelphia after the death of Walter Wallace. Looting, mayhem, burning, you name it. The city of brotherly love, which has become the city of brotherly hate, thanks to the race baiters, which began with Obama, Al Sharpton, Louis Farrakhan, that vehement anti-Semite lowlife, and Black Lives Matter, New Black Panthers Party. Remember, years ago, the New Black Panthers Party prevented people from voting during an election. Philadelphia is going crazy. It's run by an ultra-leftist and vile mayor, Jim Kenney. The DA is even worse. His name is Larry Krasner, elected with the money of George Soros, two leftists of the Jewish left, communists, that's what they are. And of course, the police chief, whose name is Danielle Outlaw. Great name. They imported her from Portland because she was African-American and female. It was kind of a cover for the misdeeds of the two white people, Kenney and Krasner, who are using race and exploiting blacks, radical blacks, to divide that city and to see it go up in flames. I represent 8 policemen, filed it under Freedom Watch at the time, who were terminated simply for their tweets and retweeting matters of other people who sent it out. They were not racist. But because the mayor was up for re-election, he had to lop off the heads of primarily white cops, didn't give them due process, neither did Krasner, by the way, who's been severely criticized by the U.S. attorney in Philadelphia. Not that that means much. But this is what we're dealing with right now, not just in Philadelphia, but nationwide. And the president needs to drive this home if he wants to win Pennsylvania and the rest of the country. These radical leftists, these socialists, these communists, these leftists of every group, radical Muslims, radicals of the Jewish left, radical feminists, radical blacks, radical atheists, you name it, radical LGBTQ, they're all out there. And they want to take this country down. And if the president wins on November 3rd, you can expect that this will simply be a warm-up act. That's what it is. And that's why we have founded, Sheriff Joe Arpaio and I, a group called America's Sheriff. Go to americassheriff.org. It's meant to protect the police, to bring cases on their behalf, to take hard-hitting actions, and to educate the American people on the need for law enforcement. I think the people know that. Most blacks know that. They're the ones that are victimized by all of this. But these despicable white socialist, communist racists like Krasner, like Soros, like others, are using radical blacks to destroy this country. And that's what they're up to. It's despicable. Now let's get to another issue. Joe Biden hides in his house, hides in the basement, comes out every now and then. They obviously shoot him up with some kind of medication because he's brain dead. It's like a super caffeine or whatever he's got. I don't understand why, with all of the opposition research that's available, why the Trump campaign or those around the Trump campaign or anyone can't come forward and reveal that this guy basically is medicated to the hilt. It's clear that he not only has dementia, but most likely the onset of Alzheimer's. He is absolutely brain dead. But they jack him up, they paint him like he's a corpse, and they send him out in a nice $5,000 suit, which he paid for, obviously, with money that was laundered from China and the Ukraine. Now, this to me is child's play. It's a chip shot. Somebody needs to legally get someone to disclose what Biden is being shot up with drugs to fool the American people. Now, last night we had an interview on Fox News. I watched it one of the few times I watched Fox News in the evening. It was by Tucker Carlson. Even if Tucker Carlson is a two-faced twit, he's not really a conservative. I remember during the days when there was Crossfire on CNN and he was a host, he used to criticize me for bringing so many cases against the Clintons. Well, he had a miraculous conversion because he knows where the market is right now. And he knows that there's a certain number of viewers on Fox News, even though it's turning left. I want to hear what he has to say. But I got to give him credit because he actually asked good questions, questions that Sean Hannity would be incapable of asking. The difference in IQ between Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity is probably about 50 points. Did an excellent interview of this guy, Bobolinsky, who was Hunter Biden's partner, laundering money from the Ukraine and from China. I know Bobolinsky claims he wasn't really involved. Obviously he was, and he's basically coming forward to save his own skin, but he was extremely credible. And the moral of the story is that our worthless FBI director, establishment, frankly, run-of-the-mill nothing, by the name of Christopher Wray, sat on this laptop that shows the emails that exist between Hunter Biden and the shakedown of the Chinese and the Ukrainians laundering money to his dad, who's called the chairman or dad. And you wonder why Joe Biden is a multimillionaire? How, if you're in Congress for 47 years, where your salary for most of that period of time was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, living in two states, at least a state and a district, Delaware and the District of Columbia, which is very, very expensive in the Northeast. How do you become a millionaire? You become a millionaire because you're a crook. You become a millionaire because you're a criminal. He didn't make his money in the private sector like President Trump did. He made it by taking bribes, and that's what this is. And when he responded the other night in the debate, I've taken no money from any foreign source. No, he didn't take anything from a foreign source. He took it laundered through his son, Hunter Biden, which was from a foreign source. That was a lie to the American people. And this leftist media, which will destroy anybody in its path, whether it's the president or try to destroy me, I push back. At Freedom Watch, we have a leftist media strike force. We sue people. Today, I'm suing Politico and Josh Gerstein, who did a hit piece on me, collaborating with District of Columbia Bar Disciplinary Council and other bar officials. I don't turn the other cheek. The bottom line is this: peacefully and legally, either we destroy Biden and Kamala Harris and the left, or they will destroy us. It's as simple as that. Let me repeat it. Either we destroy them peacefully and legally, or they will destroy us. In fact, they don't want to do it peacefully and legally. They want us all dead. And I'll tell you something. If Biden and Kamala Harris win, and I say this in my personal capacity, because I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, and I support Donald Trump in my personal capacity. He's made some mistakes. He hasn't been strong enough with China. He's given them a pass. They've destroyed our country. He should have seized their assets. He should order his attorney general to intervene and join Freedom Watch in his class action suit in Dallas, Texas, and also our cases in Jerusalem, Israel, and the International Criminal Court. I would ask that happens, and I hope that if the president wins, that he will fire Barr, that he will fire Wray, and he will appoint someone like yours truly to run the Department of Justice, because all these people should be thrown in prison. It's the least that we can do. You know, during the Revolutionary War, they weren't thrown in prison. They were just executed, ultimately. I'm not advocating that, not at all. But if there isn't justice, then there is no liberty and there is no freedom. And that's why at Freedom Watch, we have citizens' grand juries. And we will do the same thing at americasheriff.org, because we, the people, need to rise up and hold these people accountable ourselves. We need to indict them. We need to convict them. We need to sentence them. We need to exercise our right of citizen's arrest. And get my new book, It Takes a Revolution. Just came out yesterday. You can find it at barnesandnoble.com, at amazon.com, at booksamillion.com. I'm waging a second American revolution peacefully and legally, and I need your support. And when the book is republished, and I know it's going to be popular because it's different than any other book on the market. It's different than Hannity's book. It's different from a book that is coming out by Tom Fitton that probably was ghostwritten. I don't know for sure, but his first one was ghostwritten by Ben Shapiro. These books only go into the horrors of the last 4 years, and they have no solutions, no real solutions. The solution here is to the American people rising up and meting out justice themselves, just like Wyatt Earp did in the Old West, but doing it peacefully and legally. And we can do that. So get my book, It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal industry. Forget about Fox News. Yeah, turn it on if there's an interview such as Tucker Carlson, which is actual fact, rather than listening to the BS of Hannity every night, which is the same thing over and over again. People are sick of it. They want action. They don't want false promises. Don't expect the Bidens to be prosecuted by our Justice Department. Bill Barr has already declared them off limits. The Obamas and the Clintons as well as everybody else. We, the American people, need to clean house. We need to disinfest this country of the vermin that resides primarily in Washington, D.C. And we need to move the capital back to Philadelphia. Let's squeeze these leftists out and form our own government. It's time to leave this government. This government doesn't exist. And hopefully the president will clean house if he wins and start a new government with new people that are loyal to him and loyal to the American people. Because except for a few, such as Kellyanne Conway, who was forced to leave by her husband, or Stephen Miller, or just a few others, Pompeo to some extent, not totally, people around him aren't even loyal to him. They stab him in the back, and we've seen that for 4 years. So we, the people, must rise up. We must take control of our own fate. And as Jefferson said, my book, It Takes a Revolution, is dedicated to him. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there's liberty. Our so-called government, our corrupt mess, our corrupt swamp, our corrupt cesspool in Washington, D.C., needs to fear the American people by our taking action legally and peacefully into our own hands. And we have the right to do that. And if we don't do it, look at Philadelphia. Look at Philadelphia last night. Our country will cease to exist in short order. That's my message for today. Go out and buy my book, It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal industry. God bless you. God bless your family. Stay safe. Exercise your Second Amendment right of self-defense. Go out and buy firearms. Don't use them offensively. But get ready, because the leftist masses are coming for you and your family. You have the right to defend yourself. That's my message for today. Thank you for listening to me. God is with us. Remember that. And I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast, A Special Prosecutor with Larry Klayman.
I enroll because going to the doctor shouldn't be a difficult choice.
Whatever your reason for needing health insurance, Nevada HealthLink is here for you. Enrollment starts November 1st at nevadahealthlink.com.
Until then.